Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before I show you what we're going to be making, let's take care of all those housekeeping notes. All the product I use and all the descriptions and measurements will be listed below. There is a link to my online store if you'd like to purchase any of these Stampin' Up! Products. You can visit the online store to do so. Also, there is my email address. If you have any questions, you can contact me. There is a link to our Facebook group. We'd love to have you join the small but fun group where you can show your projects that you've made. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to help me grow. So we are going to be using Darling Details, and we are going to be using the Bright and Beautiful paper. And I'm going to show you the paper really fast. I'm not going to go through it. It's a 6x6. It's 48 sheets. Colors in it are Azure Afternoon, Berry Burst, Blueberry Bushel, Bubble Bath, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lolly, Lemon Lime Twist, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, and Pretty Peacock. And it's just a fun set. It is part, and I'm just going to flip them over. It is part of a suite. I did not buy the suite. It was with balloons and stuff. It just wasn't exactly my cup of tea. Yeah, I may get it later, but right now I just went with the paper because I really did like the paper that was with this because it is bright and cheerful. So that's the paper. This is actually the one we're using, the one on the bottom. So that is the paper we're using. I've already pulled out many of the stamps I need, but I haven't pulled out the dies yet. And I'm going to show you what we're making. Of course, there's an envelope, and this is the card we're making. These are colors I wouldn't have paired together, and then I started looking at colors and setting colors down, and I ended up using Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lolly, and Lost Lagoon together. And I really do like it. And then this is the inside of the card. We'll do a little masking on that. Now, this first card I made, I used the, it's the strips of foam adhesive. After I put it together, I wasn't overly thrilled with the foam adhesive look on this card. So we're going to try something a little different today and see how it works. But same card, just a little bit put together a little differently. So, and I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to get all the dies out, and I wanted to show you the dies that come with this set. There's 18 dies, and I have them actually on 2 sheets. This die, and I'm not using this today, but it creates a scallop edge on your, whatever you're making. And then there is dies to cut out this flower, and all the open ones are for things. But all these are little leaves, and this one, and this is a little flower that are standalone, and this is a stem. This is the part that got me on this set, was these 2 frames. And we're going to be using this larger frame today. And it does not cut the outside. And I don't know if you can see it on here. There's no cutting edge. But if you look, I'm trying to hold this up so you can see it. On the inside here, you can see the cutting edge. This just makes little dashes, little stitching on the inside. And I'll show you what it does. This one, the same thing. It does stitching on the outside and cuts the inside out. We're not using that one. We're only using this one. We are using this for the large flower. And we're going to be using this one. It's leaves and flowers, but I'm using it basically as leaves. I think that's all the dies we need out of this set. Now there is one more die set we are bringing in. We are bringing in Stylish Shapes, and I've already pulled it out, and we are using this little banner here, which is the medium size one. So let me get some products out here so we can get building our card. So I have a card base. Add some scrap. So let's go over the pieces first, and then we'll start building the card. This is Lost Lagoon. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And so this is the base of our card. For the inside mat, we have a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. This is our DSP, and it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, because the piece of Lost Lagoon is cut at 4 and 5 1/4, and this is actually going to go over the top. Now, I have actually die cut this already with this die. So when you center it in there, it's about 1/4 inch on all sides, and that's what gives you that frame. Now, when it cut the centerpiece out, I have saved the centerpiece. This I think would be very cute for just using this on its own as well. But this piece, we're going to actually cut our greenery out of for the front of the card. So those are the measured pieces. But first we have to do some stamping. So let's set all those aside. And get my mat here. And my scrub and some white cardstock. So we'll stamp the flowers for the front first and the verse, and where it says friend. The front of this card says friend. And bear with me, I just put a new, if you joined me last week, you knew my mats were looking pretty bad. We're going to use Lemon Lolly and Fresh Freesia. And these are 2-step stamping. Now, on some of the others, Two-Tone Flora, I like to do the, sometimes I do the detail first and then the solid. And I go back and forth. This one, I found it was easier to do the solid first and then do the detailed. So you need to play around and see what works best for you. So I need 1 Lemon Lolly flower. And I am going to stamp this off. Set that there to clean. And then I need to make sure I've got this lined up properly. And just like that. So I found this one easier to do this way. Just like that. Now I know on camera Lemon Lolly does not show up really great. Because it is a light color. In person it's beautiful, but it is very light when you do it on the camera. So that's it for Lemon Lolly for right at the very moment. And we need 2 Fresh Freesias on the front. Now one is going to be stamped off and one is going to be solid. So we're going to do one here and the next generation. And then make sure I still have that lined up properly. And then full strength on both of these as we go over the top. Like that. And we still need to wash these because we are not done with those yet. But we're going to finish doing the pieces for the front. Now we need a friend in Fresh Freesia. And I'm going off to the side here because the center of my pad is, I don't know if you can see, it's lighter in the center. It needs to be re-inked, but the sides are very juicy. So I've got to try to shift it. And you can shift it by taking a spoon or something and moving the ink. But I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to stamp this up here, make sure I have plenty of room for my die cut. Like that. So those are all the stamping for the front of the card. While we've got this Fresh Freesia out, well, I'm pretty sure I brought out an envelope. There it is. I'm just going to do 3 little Fresh Freesia flowers in the center. These flowers, I don't think you can see it on here, have a little texture. Let me see if I can get this up closer so you can see them. Focus, focus. Come on, focus. It's not going to. It's being very difficult. But there is a little bit of texture inside that flower, and it's very pretty. Okay, so that takes care of our envelope. So we'll set that aside. Now we do need to stamp the inside of our card. And let's grab that. And that one is going to be, I don't know why I closed the Fresh Freesia, but I did. We're going to stamp Happy Birthday. And so like I was showing you, if you've got a white spot, it's lighter in the center, and you haven't moved the ink or re-inked, go around the edges and you'll be dark, usually dark enough. There we go, Happy Birthday. Now we need to do a flower. Now in the inside, I made a Fresh Freesia flower. And this was a stamped off version. Make sure I didn't turn anybody. Now I want to put a lemon lolly behind it. And I've showed you masking tape masking before. I have went and all you do when you mask is you take the masking paper as you stamp what you want to have on to be masked. Oop. And then try not to rip your masking paper. It does rip. Stamp what you want, and then you fussy cut around. You can't use the dies because it will leave a white border, and you don't, when you're masking, you don't really want a white border. And then you place it down right over the area you want to cover. Just like that. Now, this is the side I want. I want the Fresh Freesia in the front and the yellow in the back, so you put the first item first. So that was the Fresh Freesia. So now we're going to stamp the lemon lolly. I'm going to stamp off, and I'm probably going to see about half of it. And make sure I have this lined up right. I do. And the lemon lolly right in there. Oop, and then I stick my fingers in the lemon lolly. Don't do that, just one moment. We don't need lemon lolly ink all over the project. Sorry about that. I did, I stuck 3 fingers right into the middle of it. Okay, then we're gonna go back in here and just gently lift your mask up. And now that yellow flower is behind the Fresh Freesia. The key is just to make sure you've cut and, you know, fussy cut out. And then when you're done, just put it back in here. It's got a lot of life left in it. I think it really adds something special to a card when they're layered like that. Okay, so let's start building the card. So let's put the inside in since we have it sitting here. Like I said, it was not. When Lost Lagoon was out last time, I'm not even sure I purchased it, to be honest. And it was not, it's just not a color I think of using very often, but I'm trying to experiment with using different colors out of my color thing. Now, this piece I cut out of that one piece I told you about, which I just flung clear across the room. Well, I'll show you on the pink. The pink's laid out about the same way. It's variegated going up. So I cut my piece across this way at 3 7/8. And then I went in here and I took it from this end and left, because this was almost white at the top, whiter than this. So, because I wanted the darker pieces at the bottom. But you can use the lighter piece if you wanted. It's up to you. So this is going to go on here. the center. Just like that. Now this piece is going to go over the top. This is where I used the, I can never remember. Hang on. They're called foam adhesive strips. I couldn't remember the name of them. Something simple. But I didn't like it. It would just look too bulky. So I'm going to go ahead and use or dimensionals on it this time. And not do as many. But the dimensionals do fit across here rather nicely. And I just thought it might not be as bulky looking if we use dimensionals instead of the other. Now this one would make a great shaker card, but I wasn't after a shaker card. I missed a Chad. There he goes. That looks pretty good. Now, what I need to determine is what one is going to be my corner. This is going to be the corner where I am putting all the flowers. So what I need to do, that's the reason I went with the other first, is because you need to build this corner up a little better than the rest of the card because you're going to be pushing flowers into it. I think that should do it. But I figured we could do it with this and not leave as much bulk. So, sorry, the wind chimes are going. It's windy. Pushing down, I just want to make sure I've got this lined up. Lift this up a little bit so I can make sure I've got one dimensional is sticking out just ever so slightly here. But I can push him down. And I got one sticking through one hole, but I'm going to cover this corner up so it's not going to make any difference. So this is with the dimensionals versus the other. I mean, both ways work. I think the other raises it up slightly thicker. It does make it thicker. So you see the difference there. So you could use whichever you wanted, but I wanted to go so it wasn't quite as thick and bulky. Okay, so we do need to cut some pieces out, and I said we needed to cut that out for our greenery. Now we need 2 greeneries, and I have one already cut. And to save time, I have already cut out our 3 flowers. The only thing I did not cut out was our friend. And so we have to cut one of these and the friend. Now don't worry, I will cut those flowers out, put them in the box, or in my bag, and we'll use them for something else later. I don't believe in wasting things I've made. Get a few of these off to the side and out of my way. And we'll get a little cranky out here. And a couple plates. Oh, it's time for rotating the plates again. Okay, I want that right in the center. And grab some of this red tape. Well, actually, I have Post-its sitting here. We'll just use the Post-its. Might as well use the Post-its. They're sitting here doing nothing. There's our friend with lovely stitching. take this and grab the die here. Throw him on there. Ready cut out okay. Okay, just getting a few things out of my way here. I'm going to grab something. I don't use this very often, but this one, it worked really well, especially for this one. Getting little pieces out of here worked really good. I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to set it on my mat. And this mat, I bought the case to go put this in, but this is the die cleaner that comes with. Okay, so the dies and the die is all clean already. But if you just gently go across here, you may not get them all out, but it's got the bulk of them out. And then it keeps the mess right there, and you can just take this whole thing to the trash. Actually, I should leave this open. And the rest of them, you just grab your pick tool or whatever you use for a pokey tool. And I had 2 more. This is the reason I did the small one. It does drop out a lot of them, but there was still a little bit of cleaning to do, a little weeding. That's okay though. I didn't figure you needed to sit and watch me weed that whole thing on air. Okay, so let's get this back. And let's see what we've got here. I know I want the yellow in the center. Let's see here. I'm going to go put the purples behind this time. So let's put this first one right about here, just up on that one. And right there. So I need some dimensionals. Since this is on dimensionals, we have to put the top part of this on dimensionals or it will sink. And grab a little bit of glue. Put a little glue, not a lot, just a little bit right along the bottom here. And put that like that. Now I'm bringing this back in here, so I like to see where I'm going. And this one's going to come up the walk a little bit. So it's going to hit just on that dot here. I'm using the dots on this thing to figure out where I'm going. We need a couple dimensionals here. And then we need a little glue here, just a tad, and a little bit here. Oop. Come up and out. About like that. Now this one's going to go right over the top of these, and it's not going on dimensionals. This is why I wanted the extra support in this corner. So I just need some glue. On the top, just a little bit. And I'm going off the top page, the top piece, but I'm making sure I don't extend past the border of the card. Or just off here just a little bit. Yes, this one's going to look different than the other one, but I want it to look different. So now I have some greenery, and I wanted to stick this in and around, and it's a little too long, so let's pop this one here. And I want to just put a little greenery right back here. I'm just put a little glue right on the front here. Actually, put a little on the back too. And I'm going to just stick it right underneath there. I'm going to leave this up. You can put a little glue behind there if you want it, but I want it to be free so it looks natural. And then I'm just going to come over here and do a little surgery on here and just clip around and make them look more natural. Actually, it'll look pretty good right there. I'm going to put a little on the bottom again. And I know it's the same color, but I didn't want to bring in another green to take away from this. Now I want a piece that sticks up in here. I think I left it small enough right there. I just want a little twig. Stick out about like that. Just adding a little more greenery to it there. And you can add another piece if you wanted. I've got it here, so a little long. Why not add a fourth piece? Nope, that's too much. Let's stick with the 3. May still use that. I'm a big one to change my designs when I want to do something different. So I'm going to clean that off. I may put that on the front. Now, across here, I wanted some ribbon. And I grabbed the sheer ribbon combo pack. And I went for the lemon lolly. Whoa, which is sticking in the bag. Now, I don't know if many of you gotten this yet. It has a very fine focus. It's got little stitching of silver, very pretty. And I don't need a very big piece if I can pick this up. So I'm going to put this across here about like that. That should do. And grab my seal here and put a nice little get it in the center here. Like that. And that's going to go across here on dimensionals. And we'll put that right here, about like that. I was thinking about putting this on here, but no, I'm gonna leave it off. I'm gonna go back to my original plan. I know, I'm sitting here rethinking myself. So this is the Iridescent Basic Pearls. Grab 2 of these larger ones, and then I'm going to grab a couple smaller ones and just sort of stack them around the card a little bit. Oh. Why not? I didn't put these in there on the first one, but I decided to put a little pearl in each of the flowers. Like I said, I like making cards different. So this is our card today. Like I I said, nice, simple card. I think it's quite fun. And like I said, it was a challenge to me to use colors I don't normally would put together. And like I said, this is the difference in these two cards. I don't know if you can see. I'll try to hold up so you can see the height. This is the difference in them. This is equivalent probably to 2 dimensionals high, where this is 1. This would require extra postage. This one shouldn't. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.